So, tourism does not have a data problem. It has a decision problem, like many businesses. The data already exists. There is a lot of bookings, prices, customer behavior, although this data not only is used as intelligence to make business decisions. And sorry, because I'm a little bit short, and I always leave this, so maybe if I start jumping, bear with me, please. I will try to go from one side to the other. But before I dive into the tourism and analytics and the examples from the Algarve, let me give you a quick introduction about communities and the importance of communities. And first of all, congratulations a lot on your work. Okay, it's very important, communities. So, a brief story. I just changed my presentation while I was there because of this. So, let me take 5 minutes to explain this. So, I'm from Portimão, here in the Algarve. Okay, so I live between Portimão and Lisbon because I teach at Nova in Lisbon. The company I work, I'm going to present as well. Also as offices in Lisbon, so I live between Portimão and Lisbon all the time. During the week, my family is in Portimão. Okay, so at 13 years old, I got my first computer, as the X Spectrum. Yeah. So I started programming. I started playing and then programming. And I don't know, maybe 10 days after I got the computer, I knew what I wanted to do for my life, to program. No one knew what was a programmer at that time. Okay, so the thing is, there was no internet, not even BBS, and other things like this. So how did we grow the knowledge? How do we create knowledge? How could we know how to program? So we found ourselves, me and my friends, a community, local community, students from the two high schools in Portimão. We were less than 20, okay? And we bought books. We went to Lisbon, we asked our parents, and this is my first AI book, 1986. There was no copy-paste. We got the code, and we needed to enter it character by character. Okay? And if it was wrong, read it, all the code, and try to make it work.
Can you read the title of the book?
Yeah. It's in Portuguese, Inteligência Artificial no Spectrum, or Artificial Intelligence in Spectrum, 1986. You can pass it around, but please return it to me. So it was a bunch of us. There was no internet. We went house to house of our friends, started with basic and then assembler, and we built a community. How we shared knowledge between this, and from that. We got, two of our friends got the first Portuguese game sold worldwide, Alien Evolution. It was sold by 1987 by 3.000 contos, that's 3,000 contos or 3 million escudos, roughly today, I was checking yesterday, 48,000 euros. That was the funding money for a company for one of them. Okay? With that company, later, we produced the first PC game sold also internationally. It's in Portimão, Algarve. Still, the team is there. Some of them still there. Some still work with me, or I work with them. Some others are professors here in the university. For example, I don't know, maybe this game, any of you had a teacher called Mark Carrasco or Paulo Carrasco in the university here in Faro? No?
Is it from Penha or Gambel?
Yeah.
Is it from Penha or Gambel?
Gambelas. Yeah. Sorry, from Penha.
Ah, okay.
From Penha. So the thing is, this was built from communities. That's what I wanted to say. It was the community that made us all learn how to program, how to do assembler. We had 48K, for example, on this. We had 48K of memory, and we needed to figure out how can we put a map inside and all the logic there. So any of us would know the powers of 2. By even today, I can cite them, because we needed to know. Things like this. So communities are very important. They spread this knowledge, okay? So again, a round of applause for the Geek Sessions and what they're doing. We may not understand what you are doing today, but in the future you will see the importance of this, okay? That I can tell you. So, my name is Nuno António. I'm a professor at Nova IMS in Lisbon, from the University of Lisbon. That's the data science school of Nova, where I teach data science related topics, mostly machine learning for marketing and social media analytics and data science, introduction to data science. Mostly, I'm also the coordinator of the Nova Tourism and Hospitality Lab. And the thing is, when I started creating for the X Spectrum, and then I started studying, and by the way, I dropped out 2 times of university. But I decided that, okay, what is the industry on my region in the Algarve? Tourism. So I want to apply AI, because I already had that idea. I want to apply AI to that industry because it's the main industry in America. Can I do it? So later I did. I finally finished my bachelor in software engineering, and then I decided, oh, but if I already worked for software in the hospitality industry. So I'm going to do a master's in hotel administration. So I did an hotel administration master, and then I decided, okay, I'm already 40-something, maybe I should do the PhD now, or I will never do it. So I finished my PhD in AI applied to management, to revenue management, and then I was invited to be at Nova as a professor, but still I continue in IT Base, a company that I was one of the founders, and as CTO. But then 2 years ago we sold the company to Ost, and then Ost was bought by Banyan, an international company. I'm still there as a CTO and teaching at Nova. So that's my background. That's why I think with this you can understand why I went from the Algarve, but still using AI and tourism, and this is the case. So the thing is, in tourism, there is a lot of data, okay? There are many systems these days. All of us uses booking.com, but there are channel managers, there are CRM systems, PMS, property management systems, where the hotels enter the reservations. It's the core systems on an hotel. There are many of them. But the thing is, although there is all this data, it's hard for the companies. So they have low margins. It's an industry with a lot of service. It requires a lot of human service there. It's high competition. They compete, the Algarve compete to all other destinations worldwide. Okay? There is digital disruption. Hotel, for example, Hotel have a year in Faro, they are competing even with Booking.com. Booking.com, although they sell their product, is a technology company, and it uses completely different technology than a small hotel has. Okay? And you know what is the commission, for example, an hotel pays to Booking.com? Usually?
30 to 40.
Yeah, 15 to 25%. So it's huge margins. Okay? So they are fighting this. And then there is data, it's not underused, it's underused for decision making because, again, as I said, hotels and the hospitality industry that I work most doesn't have the tools or the skills and the knowledge and the funding that these big companies have. But there are changes. So, of course, it's when we apply descriptive modeling, predictive models using AI that we get more return on investment. That's when we get some returns. That's when we can compete, let's say, with the others. So I brought some examples, 3 examples, with companies here from the Algarve using AI in their businesses, and how you can use AI and take advantage of that. So 3 cases. First of all, improving guest satisfaction and website conversion. The second one, decreasing the costs in the parking in the airport. And the third one, reducing cancellations. So, moving to the first. And I didn't brought the presentation to an engineering level. I use it more on a business level, because most of the time, us engineers, and I think I'm saying us engineers because I would say that most of you are geeks. So if you are geeks like me, on my time, when I had 13 years old, I couldn't say that I was a geek. It was pejorative, now I can. So, if you're like me, you tend to use technical stuff, but on my case, I learned that, yes, but we are using AI not for ourselves, for the companies, for businesses. So we need to think about the advantage for the business, not the technical side. The technical is just the way to do it. It's just how we can make and take advantage of this on the companies. So improving guest satisfaction on website conversion. So what was the business problem for this hotel group? This hotel group has hotels in the Algarve and Lisbon and other parts of Portugal. And they wanted to improve the hotel's social reputation and enhance the website conversion rate. So social reputation is very important in hotels. A quick question. Who of you does bookings on hotels without reading a review? None. You see the importance of social reputation in hotels? 1% increase in the ratings increases the revenue by 1.2 to 1.4%. So it's a lot of money in the end of the year. So they fight for improving social reputation. So in the end, what was our decision? So let's collect data from Booking.com and TripAdvisor, 23,000 reviews, English, Portuguese, and Spanish, because they represent mostly 75% of the customers we have. And 8 hotels and the competitors of those hotels, so 56 hotels in total. And the first thing we looked was to the ratings. And we were just using for average ratings. And the first thing we noticed is, we were not expecting this is city hotels, this is resort hotels. So city are in Lisbon hotels and these are resort hotels here in the Algarve. People writing in English give higher ratings than people writing in Spanish and Portuguese and Spanish. Okay. Only in 2-star hotels that doesn't happen. Here in the Algarve, it's even more distinguishable. So the guys from the revenue management already said, okay, that is easy. Let's divert our advertisement on Google more to the English-speaking countries. We want more people from that and less from Portugal and Spain, and the ratings go up. Easy marketing decision, very easy, easy to control, actionable. But that was not the relevant. That was not what we're looking for. Was words. And then comes the problem. You are analyzing 23,000 reviews. You can use an LLM, they will do summarization, but then people will ask you, but I want to see this. I want you to show me this. Because I don't know LLMs. So, since they want to visualize, we created a visualization based on core diagrams. This is now available as a Python package, by the way. So, this visualization is what? You have here the top 25 nouns measured on reviews, and then you have the adjectives used to classify those nouns. Okay? So you have also the thicknesses of the lines connecting the two. It means the number of reviews you have, or the co-occurrence of the two words, sorry, how much the two words came together. The color on the words is their frequency, so the darker, the more frequent they have. So you can see here, for example, that you have staff, friendly and helpful. Meaning what? And the color is green, so it's sentiment analysis, meaning it's positive. People are spending and saying well about staff, about being helpful. You also have neutral, okay? People saying that it's neutral about the room conditions or the room that they booked. And you also have a negative. The bar is expensive. Okay, but the concurrency is not so bad compared to the others, okay? And this is English in city hotels. When you go to English in resort hotels, it's very similar, but then here in the Algarve, people complain the service was slow. Okay? But everything else, very similar. Okay, they also complain about the pool and the cold water, and these are the things that, come on, let's see the reviews now. What are they saying about this? They think the water is cold. You can easily solve this. You know how they solve this? They just put some signs explaining that when you heat up the water, by every degree you increase, the more bacteria you have. So the water is at this temperature so that we don't have a problem with bacteria. So you decrease the number of people putting bad reviews about the pool. The thing is, we need the data to do this. We need to study it. Again, so we use the technology and the data to come to this, to find these kind of things. But then we went to Spain, Spanish, much more reds, much more negatives. We saw the ratings were below. And the thing is, they started, you can see here, desayuno, breakfast. Breakfast is scarce, breakfast is poor, okay? You can see also that the room or the parking space, parking is, for the cars, is expensive or difficult. And we start thinking, okay, but why did the other ones not complain about the car? Because they were flying, not bringing a car. So we need to have good parking spaces or doing contracts with the parks near us and advertise this on the website. Again, to what? To reduce social repetition, reviews, something bad. And also, we start seeing things like Turk and bathrooms. But people writing in English didn't talk about bathrooms. Turks, it's towels. I knew, LLMs knew, some people knew, I didn't. What the hell is Turk in Spanish? Okay, yeah, it's towels and things like this. Okay, so why the other ones did not complain? So we started to looking at it, and even on resorts, the same thing happened. Okay, there's ayuno, so the breakfast is scarce, the breakfast is poor, parking space is not good. Again, the bathrooms is neutral, so some good, some bad. So we start to see some patterns in here. When we move on to the Portuguese-speaking reviews, for the Portuguese written reviews, they were very similar. Again, the parking space, again, the breakfast being weak, and things like that. So by analyzing this data, and again on resorts was very similar, I'm not going to all the details there, we could found that, yeah, that was easy. The first presentation we did to the board of the hotel group, one of the administrators just told us, come on guys, put more pan with tomato, or bread with tomato. Put more cold dishes on breakfast, and that's solved. And for the hotels, this costs nothing. So immediately you can see, 15 days later, no more reviews, at least that magnitude with negative about the breakfast from Spanish-speaking customers. They changed, that took more time, changed some bathroom textiles, upgraded some food service counters. They even updated the Wi-Fi coverage in the resort hotels because it was not good, there were some complaints about it. And also to improve the conversion rate on the sites, what they did was adapt the content to the hotel and to the customer. So if you have an IP from Spain, most probably you will be driving. So if you have, on that specific hotel, if you have a good parking space, put that on your landing page. If you have good bathrooms, new towels on your hotel, put in those hotels, put those photos up front, because usually those are the last photos that you show to the customers, because they are interested. For the UK customers or the others, it's different. So you adapt your landing pages according to the IP and to the most speaking language of that customer. And this is a way of jumping the revenue. Second case. Just let me know, okay? Second case, about here in the Algarve as well, decrease airport parking costs. So this one, the business case was, or the business problem was a company that does transfers, that picks up customers at the airport, drops them in the hotels, and do the reverse. Pick them in the hotel and bring them to the airport. There was, at that time, that company was paying a yearly contract to the Faro Airport. So they were paying an amount of money to park cars every day to pick up customers. But then the Vinci, the company managing the airport, decided, okay, let's charge by slots of 15 minutes, 0.6 cents, okay? So for them, there was doing some math, and the math was, okay, this year or last year we paid 60,000 euros just in parking at the airport. Next year, according to this, we will pay 70,000. That's a lot of money, just for parking the cars. Can we do something? Okay, so a predictive model was built. They had reservation data, so they knew when the customer were going to arrive, the flight number, and the flight number is important because you also have, related to the flight company, the airline, you also know the handling company. Some handling companies take more time than others, for example. You know the number of people, if they bring children or not, okay? Because, again, you took more time, if you have children, if you have babies. And if the luggage that you bring. Will you just bring a carry-on? Will you bring a bicycle? Will you bring golf? So all of that takes more time in the airport. So the idea is, of course, by the way, sorry, they also bought flight radar data so that we know when the airplane is arriving and when it arrives and lands, okay? So with this, we could predict when the drivers should enter the parking space. So what happened is that the drivers had an app, so they would park outside the airport and wait for the app to tell them, go in the parking spot now, okay? So with that, they decreased to less than 30,000. They were expecting 70,000. So they paid the application in some months, not even years, the models, okay? And the average parking space was 12 minutes on that, with that change. So one slot only, 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. Second case, third case, reduce cancellations and improve demand management decisions. So, the problem in here is, can we reduce cancellations in hotels, and can we decrease the uncertainty related to cancellations? Let me do a quick poll again. Who, when travels, makes a booking but keeps looking for better options and then cancel that booking and make a new one? Okay, some. Now, who does multiple bookings at the same time and then decide later what to cancel and keeps just one? Okay, 2, 3 at least. Okay, so thank you for giving me work. Okay. Yeah, so cancellations in hotels, very commonly go from 20 to 60%. So in Lisbon, a very common number, it's between 40-50%. Here in the Algarve, 40% is also very common, okay? So imagine you have a business where you need to plan how many people you're going to have, how much food you need to have in the restaurants, fresh food, things like this, how many people you need to clean, you need to plan their schedule, but completely full of uncertainty. Why? Because 40-50% of the reservations keep canceling and new ones will appear or not, you never know. So this is a very big problem, making demand decisions without uncertainty, without certainty. And there is also tools like this. Anyone knows Pruvo? No. So I'm going to tell you now, and Usually when I do this in a conference, most people take the name of the app or searching for it. It's an app. You do a booking on booking.com, for example, or Expedia, and then you upload it to Provo. It's an app. And then you forget it. What they do is they will start searching for a better price if they can. They will cancel the previous reservation and make a new one. They will keep 50% of the difference of the price, and they will give you the other 50%. So it's a win-win for all of them, except for the hotel. So we don't want this to happen. We don't want people to use these apps. Okay, I'm telling you, use it. The thing is, so what could we do to mitigate this problem? So hotels have a high risk because they have to honor the bookings that they have. They have to make demand management decisions with imperfect information. They have to make these decisions based on the bookings that they have now. They don't know how many will be cancelled. Bear with the marketing costs because sometimes they are cancelled almost on the arrival date, 2 days before, 3 days before, then they have to spend money to sell those rooms. And bear the opportunity costs of having the free rooms if they are not occupied. To lower this, they do overbooking, for example, and restrictive cancellation policies. Overbooking, no one likes overbooking because, again, if you arrive at the hotel and you don't have your room, they tell you you need to go to another hotel. You are going to the social network and you're going to complain, so bad for social reputation. Generates reallocation costs, and of course, the hotel will lose money because they will have to pay your room in another hotel. Restrictive cancellation policies, they usually tend to be cheaper, but you cannot cancel. So for example, when I'm traveling in the company name, usually I cannot do restrictive cancellation policies. Why? Because sometimes the customer at the last minute changes the meeting and I need to cancel my booking. If I have a booking that is non-refundable, that I cannot cancel, I have a problem. And you remember the discussion about non-refundable during COVID, what happened with tourism at that time. And of course, usually these reservations have a discount, so hotels learn less with this. So what we did was using the property management system, the bookings that we have on the hotel, the details of that data, and then social reputation data, prices and inventory data, events on the city data, things like that. We built a predictive model. And we run this predictive model as a prototype in 2 of the hotels of the group. I can only show prototype details. I cannot show real details from the production environment, just the prototypes, not authorized to it. In the resort hotels here in the Algarve and another in the city hotel. And with the model, we were having this app, this web app, where the people from the revenue management and the marketing departments could see what was the forecasting. So we had here, for example, for this day, we had a 99.5% occupancy rate, but the system was saying that it will be 95%, meaning that 7 reservations will cancel for tomorrow, or from 2 days from now. And we were telling them, these are the reservations that were being cancelled. So act on them. In fact, we're doing A/B testing. Because this was the prototype, we were doing A/B testing. We were holding up 50% of the reservations so that they could not act upon them, and they could act on the other ones, and then we could compare and do some statistical tests to see if it was working or not. Okay? So by doing this, they were calling, they were sending emails to the customers and saying, of course, they were not saying, oh, I have this predictive model that say that you're going to cancel. They were not saying that. They were saying, oh, nice of you to come to our hotel. I see that you're going to bring your car. Can you give us the license plate so you go directly to the parking space without going to the reception? You can only go to the reception later. Or, thank you for choosing the hotel with us. I see that you're going to bring a child. Can you tell me the age and the height so that you can put a bed with the appropriate size? So they were not offering nothing. In the beginning, they were offering spas and restaurant vouchers, but customers keep asking for more. And it was not for the cost, it took them time. to argue with the customer. So they decided not to offer nothing and just asking these questions, okay? So, and they didn't have the resources to call everyone, so they were just doing this, just calling them or sending emails. So, in the end, cancellations decreased by 37 percentage points, and in the 3 months, just from the prevented cancellations, it was 39,000 euros on the prototypes. Of course, they said, okay, I want this live in all the hotels. Okay? So again, it's having certainty because now you have the numbers, you can predict who is likely to cancel. Of course, you cannot predict everything, okay? But at least you can predict some. So they could make better decisions, change their cancellation policies on the hotels, decrease overbookings, also very relevant because it impacts social reputation, okay? So that also diminished. And also they decreased the number of days that were close to sales. Because for example, here in the Algarve, in July and August, if you think you're going to overbook what you do, or if you think you are full, you close your sales, you don't sell anymore. You just say, go to booking and say, I don't have any more rooms available. But if the model is saying, 5 of them will cancel, you will not close your sales. You will leave the system to continue to sell. So meaning at the end, this is also a lot of money. More days you were open to sales. So customers also improved, the customer service was also better. They loved being contacted by the hotel before. So we got also increased the social reputation, was a bypass of what we were doing. And to finish, and to wrapping up in the time, I think, just to wrap it up, just to say that we can use data to create value. We can use AI to create values in companies, okay? But first of all, we need to build this culture, and we need systematic data collection. And many companies still haven't understand that, because you cannot do any AI without data. And we are today on the first talk about Carlos about collecting data. He was also mentioning that. And without data, there is no AI to train models. So we need systems to collect all the data we have on the systems. We need people trained to know and understand the importance of this. And with this, we can make better decisions. And the thing is, the competitive advantage into organizations is based on analytics. It's based on data, information that we have, models, not on instinct. Okay, it's not from where the wind comes. So we can and we should make decisions based on data. So thank you very much, and I'm free for questions.